I'm not in the UK right now, guys. Thought that this week these 2 weeks, I could do a how many books can I read on holiday video. I'm sitting on all my hair clips. Horrendous right now in the lighting, I'm very, very sorry, but it is what it is. Start off by saying I have brought with me my Kindle. I've started my Book Beats free trial. Yeah, free trial. So I've got a bit way through a book on there, I'll talk about in a minute. I've brought with me 2 books. I've brought with me my Kindle, as I said. So the books I've brought are actually Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. I'm so excited to read this, but who told me this book was so long? It's honestly massive. Like, look at it, that's crazy long. That's given like Knockabout series long. Okay, for this is about Raphael and Ellie. It's a nanny and boss. It's the second book in the Lakefront Billionaire series, which is actually one of my favorite series right now. I really loved the Love Redesigned book. I thought it was amazing. It was one of my first 5-star romances ever. And I've also brought Charlie Higson's book The Fear, which is in my Enemy series, which is a zombie apocalypse series. They're very different books. Right now I'm currently partway through a book. So the book I'm currently reading is a novel of true love. Is it called A Novel of True Love? I think it is. And this book is so good. So I'm listening to this on audiobooks right now, and it's hitting the spot. So I first of all read this on the plane, and I read a good chunk of it. I read about 30% on the plane. I only read it in the last 2 hours, I'd say, and I did some editing whilst I was reading it. And then when I got here today, I read it for about 2 hours whilst I was getting ready, and also whilst I was sunbathing and just out on the beds. I'm at 70% through that book right now. I might be wrong, I'm not too sure, but I think I'm at 70% or 71%. Really, really, really liking that book. So this book is by Ashley Poston, and it's very much one of those books that it's slightly fantasy. So this girl has gone through a really bad breakup, and her series that she has always adored and it's pulled her through it, the author died and never finished the series. And one day she's driving and her car breaks down, and she arrives in the town of the book series. She doesn't know it's the town until a few chapters in, and then she realizes that some of the characters are the same in the book as this town, and the name of the town and the places in the town is literally like if I got thrown into the Chestnut Springs series. I would be in my element. I'd be like, what the hell? So that's what she's at right now. She's very much trying to not make too many ripples in the story, because she knows she's in the middle of a storybook. She doesn't want to like change anyone's story by accident. She doesn't know how everything works. And there is one person in this book that knows that it's all a book, and he is our potential love interest, I think. He's very interesting, and he's very much a endearing character right now. Oh my god, I'm so sweaty right now. It is like 30-degree heat right now outside. He isn't being really helpful right now. He's very much reluctant to give us any information, and we're still at the point where it's like, why has this happened? And it's kind of one of those books where you just gotta be like, it's happened because it's happened, moving on. Like, just take it for what it is. Like, it is got an element of that fantasy and whimsicalness, which I do love. She has never experienced like true love. She's always read about it, she's always wanted it, never actually ever experienced it. She had a really messy breakup, which you find out about, and it's actually like really sad, and it's like, girl, you deserve way better than what he gave you. But she went through all that, and she's kind of thinking that she's just not worth anyone's happiness or anyone's time. All got very like Southern Belle accents, which I'm sorry, but it's really moving the story on at a great pace. It's brilliant. I've almost finished the book. I'm at 85% through this book, and I'm in shock at how good it is. Like, I had a feeling I knew it was gonna happen. I'm wearing clothes, by the way. I've got a swimsuit on. I had a feeling I knew it was gonna happen, and I was like, oh my god, I think this is gonna happen. Like, this is why I did it. And then I was completely blown away. I'm at 85% through. I'm completely blown away by the plot twist. I did not expect that, and my heart is like thudding, so I'm definitely gonna finish it today. I'm really into this book. I'm really enjoying it. Completely finished the book. I've given it a 4 right now. Might be a 3.75, I'm not sure. but was okay with the ending. Not a big fan, but like it was nice. I don't know. Talk about the book that I read. What was it called? A novel of what, Sam?
A novel love story.
A novel love story. I keep thinking it's called A Novel of True Love, but it's not. So A Novel Love Story. I ended up giving it a 4-star. That's not a bad rating, I just want to say, but it's not the best rating I could have got. It was very much on its way to get a 4.5, and I was so close to giving it one. I loved all the characters, and I loved how much of an impact that our main character had on the book. I love the plot twist with who certain characters turned out to be and how wrong we were about them, and I liked a lot of it, but I felt like, I don't know, towards the end I just felt like a little bit underwhelmed. Like, after such a whimsical, amazing story, the ending just felt a bit like it should have been more whimsical, in my opinion. Like, I would have loved it. It was more whimsical and more out there, but it wasn't, and I was just quite devastated because I really wanted some like big fantasy sort of ending, like something really magical, and it was a bit bland and a bit blah. So I did enjoy it, and I'm happy with who ended up with who. I really did almost give it a 4.25, but I couldn't because it was just missing that little bit of extra magicalness. Now I've been looking for any audiobooks really. I'm looking at reading potentially Daisy Jones and the Six. I know that it was very hyped way back when Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo was hyped, and I never read it then, but I would read it potentially if I got it on audiobook. And I've also got Love Unwritten here, so I do want to get that read at some point because I just would love to get another physical book read, like actually feeling paper and things. I'd love to do that. It is the next day. I am debating what to read. I think I am pretty set on Daisy Jones and the Six. I don't know why, I'm just very interested by it right now. So this is written by Taylor Jenkins Reid, 368 pages, so it's really not that long. It also got an award. I can't see, it says the Goodreads Choice 2019 winner, so it should be a good book. It's here that I'm gonna read the synopsis for you and sum it up a little bit. So it says, Daisy is a girl coming of age in LA in their late 60s, sneaking into clubs on the Sunset Strip, sleeping with rock stars and dreaming of singing the Whiskey a Go-Go, drugs and sex and everything. So it's like there's mentions of people doing this illegally and this, that and the other, so you have to be wary of that. Heedless beauty that makes people do crazy things. Also noticed is The Six, a band led by the brooding Billy June. So we find out that his girlfriend Camilla is pregnant as he's going on tour. When he realizes that his fatherhood come in and fame, he goes a little wild on the road. Daisy and Billy cross paths when a producer realizes that the key to Superjar's success is to put the two together. What happens next will become the stuff of legend. The making of that legend is chronicled in this riveting, unforgettable novel, written as an oral history and one of the biggest bands of the 70s. Yeah, it's fictional, obviously, but it's very much meant to be about this band and this girl coming together to create this amazing music. Obviously, there's going to be drugs and sex, alcohol, everything, because it's the 60s, and it's going to be quite dark in places, I'm guessing. It's a novel, it's not a romance or anything. I think, to me, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo also was a novel to me, so this will probably be my second novel that I've read. I am back in the room. It is currently 6:30. We're going out at 7:30, so I'm just getting ready now. The book is so good, I'm so invested. I think I'm at chapter 6 out of 15, so pretty good going today. I've got 3 hours 50 minutes left, and it is the audiobook that I'm reading, and I'm really into this book. So I've actually got some notes written down. I knew that I could end up forgetting all of my opinions because some of them and everything, so I wrote everything down. Let's read you through. I adored the voices and the highs and lows in the voices are really selling this book to me. It feels like I'm watching a film. Billy, I don't like. As of right now, Billy is an ass, and His rock and roll lifestyle I really don't like. I think he's very disrespectful towards Camila, and I just think he's quite an arse. Daisy is an interesting character, and she has very like loads of layers to her, which I like. Karen is absolutely like a girl boss. Like, she knows how to play the game. She knows what she needs to do to get ahead, even though as a woman she has disadvantages. This is set in the 60s and 70s right now. Eddie's voice is currently reminding me, if you've ever watched Gilmore Girls, towards like the last few seasons, Gil in Lane's band, him, it's literally the same person. So when I'm hearing Eddie, I'm thinking of Gil. So I love Eddie, he's my favourite right now. There is a lot of talk about recreational drugs, so just pre-warning you there, because the 70s obviously is very much all about like drugs and stuff, and so is the 80s. So the rock and roll scene, very drug heavy right now, and you just have to understand that's the type of time that it is. As of right now, where I've left the book, I'm really liking Daisy. I think she's a very hardworking person who's gone through a lot in her life and kind of just been expected to understand things in life without being shown anything. Like, her parents didn't really show her much in life, didn't really show her that they cared about her, which is really sad. And I just think that she makes mistakes and she has had bad influences in her life, but as an overall character, I like her. I think she's definitely got a lot of layers to her, and there's more to her than we know, I think, so far. I think there's just so much more to see. Hello, it is the next day, and I look terrible in this lighting. Like, I look like my face is orange. Believe me, I am matching everything, don't worry. Like, my face is actually matching my body. It's just weird in this lighting. Where am I up to? Yes, I finished Daisy Jones in the 6th day. I was very conflicted on the ending. Like, okay, so where I left you off, I feel like I liked Daisy, I liked Karen, Eddie, but I wasn't a big fan of Billy. So by the end of the book, my opinion was that all these characters were flawed, and they were meant to be. I felt like the character I liked the most, I don't know, I feel like every single character had its flaws. Like, Eddie complained a lot about Billy. Like, he constantly complained about the fact that he felt like he was someone in the background all the time. Like, himself, he felt like a secondary character, and that Billy was the star. Billy obviously had his situation that he did that was not good, and the fact that he was just so disrespectful to Camila, and also to Daisy, in my opinion. Daisy was a hell of a character. She was a drug addict and she was obsessed with being the life of the party, but at the end of the day, she did a lot of stuff that it was just so morally incorrect, things that she should not have even considered doing. And she did acknowledge that she was in the wrong for a lot of the stuff, that she shouldn't have done it, but she couldn't help herself. That was just the type of destructive character she was. I felt that Karen, towards the end, like, I still liked her, and I completely understood her reasons for everything all the way through. And Graham, I enjoyed. I thought he was a very good character. I liked the ending. It was very clear we saw the way that the band ended up, and the highs and lows and the struggles. And by the very end, I will say it didn't feel like I got a cohesive, like, full circle moment, whereas in Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which is the last proper novel I read, I got like a full circle moment where like by the end I was like, okay, yeah, I'm happy with that ending. Whereas this one, it kind of ended on a low still. I ended up giving this book a 4.25. I feel like I'm happy with that. I feel like it was not good enough for me to give it anything above a 4.25, so I'm very happy with that. I felt like the characters were written very well. I felt like they were real people. The voices on the audiobook were absolutely phenomenal. I thought they were very, very convincing, and it felt like they were real people. I enjoyed the story. I liked the twists. I liked Camila. I think my favourite character is probably Camila, Karen and Eddie. What I'm going to read next, I don't know if I should read Love Unwritten or The Fear. As you may have seen, I have started Off to the Races by Elsie Silver. So this is the Gold Rush Ranch series. I think it's a 5-book series, if I'm not wrong. I'm liking it. I'm very much invested right now. It's really good. So this book series is but it's a cowboy romance again, and this is the first book of the series, and apparently this is one of Elsie Silver's first ever books, and I can see it's quite similar to Chestnut Springs and that whole vibe, which I'm really liking. So I'm at chapter 6, page 64 of 380, which is pretty decent for today. I've only been reading it for about, I don't know, an hour and a bit. I'm really liking it. So we've got our main character Billy, and then we have our male main character, which is Vaughn, and Vaughn and Billy don't like each other. I mean, you can tell that from the start here. They really don't like each other, and Billy has just turned up and become Vaughn's trainer for his horses that he's got, and Vaughn is a businessman who is trying to run his grandfather's stables, which used to be race horses, but they have been disqualified from competing for the next 3 months because of a scandal that's happened about his grandfather. So there's all that to unpack, which I'm hoping there's more about later on. But as of right now, Billy and Van don't like each other. They already got off the wrong foot with their first encounter with each other. They had a bad first impression, and Vaughn is very much up his own arse in a way. He expects women to all act a certain way because he's only ever been around one kind of women, and that is the kind who fall at men's feet, who are rich, and they want to be gold diggers, and all they care about is money and clothes and looking good. Whereas Billy didn't care about any of that. Billy is a very headstrong woman, and she basically won't take shit from people, and she will just say it how it is. When people piss her off, she will just tell them, and he's just not used to a woman being that mouthy, and I love it. I love Billy. I think Billy Black is a brilliant character, and he is determined to rile up Billy. So we've just had a paragraph at the end of the chapter, and Vaughn clearly has some attraction to Billy. He's clearly interested in her, and she clearly makes him feel things, and he knows he can't, mess around with an employee or become friends with benefits with one, but he knows he can mess with her, as in piss her off and antagonize her. So I'm guessing this book's going to be an enemies to lovers book, and like workplace romance as well, and it's honestly making me laugh so much. And Billy also likes Vaughn, and she isn't embarrassed to show it. Like, she will check him out and he'll be like, do you like what you see? And she's like, yeah, very much so. It's honestly, she's not a character that I've ever, like, this vibe of character I've never read about before. I'd say the most she reminds me of, I agree with Sarah Corelli. She's read this book and she said she reminds her of Willa. I completely agree. This character is screaming Willa, but not fully. So Willa was the girl in the second Chestnut Springs series, which was Heartless. Very similar with how feisty they both are, but she is still very different as well, and I really like her. She's honestly an amazing main character. I actually can't. Don't date people. Sam just spent about half an hour trying to figure out how to put a towel up. You proud?
Yes. Look at this. That's not the only one.
Sam, I was leaning on that towel.
Yep. And here, number 2.
It has been a day? I don't know. I didn't film yesterday because I didn't pick up the book, but I filmed my filming oh my gosh, it's 12 o'clock at night. I'm really tired. I am filming a clip today because I've actually read quite a bit. So I have read to page 210 out of 380, and this is over halfway through the book, which I'm so happy about. It's really getting there. So I was convinced that this book was going to end with us seeing Dee Dee in the races, and that was when we were seeing the ending, was when he finally did that. I did not expect us to already have the racing part happen in the middle of the book, so I'm very, very shocked by that in a way, because I thought I knew where this book was going, but I feel like I don't really know where it's going. But I like that. I like the characters. I think they're really good. Hank is a sweetheart. I like Violet in this. It's a nice to have her in this book. Also, really, really liking Billy, and I like her backstory, but I wish we got a little bit more into her backstory. We haven't explained like what this big secret was and everything, and I feel like I kind of wish there was more to do with the secret. I want to know more about the secret. Like, why was this a big thing that you hid? I've not got that yet. I can see how this was Elsie Silver's, like, one of her first ever books, because it's so Elsie Silver. Like, I can see hints of her now in this book, so I'm really enjoying that. Van is a good character. I like him. At first he was very stuck up and snobby and wasn't a big fan. But the more I'm getting to know him, the more I'm liking him. It is spicy, it's Elsie Silver. We're having our first few spice scenes already have happened. I'm on chapter 20 and I'm very happy so far. In total, what have I got left of the book? I've got 1 hour 55 left of this entire book, so I'm going to try and read a good chunk tomorrow and hopefully sit and sunbathe for a bit and get a good chunk read. But this will be my first Kindle read of this holiday. So I've done 2 audiobooks, I think, and then this will be my first Kindle read. Maybe I'll get onto a physical book as well, maybe. I am back from the pool, so I am wearing a top right now. I've got on my strapless bikini from today. Just looks like I'm not wearing anything, but yeah. I finished the book. I didn't expect to do that. I actually was aiming to get through, I don't think I said to you how much. I was hoping to get through some of the book, but in my head I decided about 50 pages. I finished the book. I finished it. So let's talk about my opinions. Right now, I just finished it about an hour ago, so I don't really have many opinions. My opinions are a bit superficial, and I definitely just sit and think about what my feelings are. But I did rate the book a 4. Now, the reason I rated it a 4 was I thought that the book was really good, and for Elsie Silver's first ever novel, I thought it was a really solid book. I really liked the romance, I liked the spice scenes, they were very good, and I could really see where the roots had started with Elsie Silver and how she really went into this, like, how she got her style and how she found it in writing, which I liked. I liked Van, but I loved Billy. I thought she was a brilliant character. I'm very excited to read Photo Finish, which is the next one. I think it's Violet and Cole. I'm very excited for that. But this book was really good. I felt like there was a section when the characters don't really agree on something. There's a little like kick up, and that bit I did understand, and to me I felt like it was very natural for the characters to have that happen to them, because sometimes you can feel like, oh, there's just dilemma happening, like a problem happening for no reason. But with this I was like, no, I can see the reason. I understand, because these two characters, I can see this happening between them. So I did like it. I loved the horse racing aspect and how these two characters had been hurt before. I also thought mainly it was just a very good start to a series. I just thought it was really solid. I have so many more opinions, but I want to talk about them later when I've really thought and finalised my opinions. It is time to update the book for definite. I completely read it, I told you that, and I've been thinking about my feelings and everything about the book. I am definitely rating it a 4-star. Solid 4-star. Very, very happy with this book. So After the Races was, I don't know what it was about it, but it seemed so wholesome. So we had our main character who was, oh my life, her name's escaping my mind. Billy. We had Billy Black, and we had our male main character who was Van. So Van was very much like a rich, up his own arse sort of person, and he was dealing with trying to clear his grandfather's name because his grandfather had been accused, and there was evidence that he had faked some scores for some races and said that his ranch won. So our male main character was trying to clear his name, really, because his grandfather was always like a dad to him. And then we have Billy Black, who is running from her past, and we don't know what that is. So I like these two characters. They were both very much hurt characters trying to find their way and trying to heal themselves. And I liked this story. I felt like the chemistry between them was good. There was banter, and there was enemies to lovers sort of trope. There was a bit of miscommunication, which is not my favourite trope, but there was a little bit, and I didn't mind it. It made sense for their personalities. And I would also say there was workplace romance a little bit, because she was his employee. Please check the warnings warnings if you're going to read this book, because I didn't expect these warnings to be that deep, but they are. It is the next day and I did start a book. I'm actually really far into this book. So I started what I said I was going to hope to start. Love Unwritten. I'm really liking this book so far. It's so good. So I'm actually halfway through. I'm at page 302. Okay, so this book is so good. I have got a towel on, by the way. It's like right here because I've just been in the pool. This book is so good. So we've got our main two characters, Raphael and Ellie. So they've known each other for a while and she is the nanny of Raphael's child, Nico. Nico is such a cute character. I love the way he's written, but about that in a minute. These two people have grown up in the same high school together. Raphael was always the popular boy, always on the, like, a jock and the, as I said, popular guy, whereas she was very much a quiet, reserved girl and just not really someone that would have been on Raphael's radar, but she had a massive crush on him. I'm really liking this book so far. So we've seen loads of the dynamics between all three of them. We've seen the vibe between Nico and Ellie, between Ellie and Raphael, and between Nico and Raphael, and it's honestly so layered. This isn't like a cute little rom-com, this is a really good romance book, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if they could top off Love Redesigned, which was the first book in this series, but this is really good. So my first thing I'm loving about this book is that Julian from Love Redesigned is in this book so much. So is Lily and so is Dahlia, which I'm really liking. Secondly, I'm loving the plot that both characters have got. So Ellie is recovering from, well, she's still hurt by her friend. So something happened with her friend. They used to be musicians together and she got massively betrayed by her. And so she's still working through that and she's very much a people pleaser. And whilst that's happening, you've got Raphael, who's also trying to work through his own insecurities, and he's very much given up on his looks, which means that he's given up on himself and not really trying to make himself look good for himself. He's not communicating with Nico very well in the beginning and he is at a loss. He's really struggling. He's a single dad and Nico's mum just couldn't care less about him. That's where we are at the start. So where I am now, we are currently in Hawaii. We've gone on the holiday that was mentioned in Love Redesigned and it is so good. We're seeing so many parts where we get to see Nico and Ellie's relationship and Nico and Raphael's relationship mending, and also a lot of scenes where we see Raphael looking after Ellie and really trying to get to know her as a person and not just the babysitter. So, and the nanny. I really am liking the whole holiday section. I think it's really sweet and I love the way that Ellie is scared of aeroplanes and how that has all been addressed in this book. There are a lot of trigger warnings, so there is like a QR code to scan at the front of the book. Do it, please don't go in blind, because there are a lot of trigger warnings that I did not expect to be in this book. I mean, I didn't expect them at all, but there is a hell of a lot. So I'm just pre-warning you there so you don't end up going into this book blind and then not really enjoying it. I think because I already knew it was the trigger warnings were, they didn't blindside me, which I'm very happy I knew about them. I'm really enjoying it so far, honestly. I'm trying to think what to tell you. There's so many quotes in here that I've like circled and put love hearts, as you can see. I've got someone here, just so many parts that I just have adored. 102, and I feel like we're at a really good place for the halfway point. Some people said this book was way too long, but as of right now, I feel like it's doing a really good pace. And for halfway through, I feel like it's good. I'm very happy with where we're at, and I feel like it's definitely the halfway point in terms of like the story. There's still a hell of a lot to uncover. This book has way more than just a romance. It's not just about Raphael and Ellie. There's also so much more. We've got Nico's medical problems, cool things that he's going through and his worries about that. Nico and his dad's relationship and them trying to fix that. Raphael and Ellie. Also Raphael trying to come to terms with his relationship with Nico's mother, and then we've also got Ellie trying to come to terms with this friend and what she's gonna really do with her career. Is like what does she want in life. I'm liking it all so far. I feel like there's so many different things happening for every character, which I appreciate. It just shows this book is not lazy. Like, the author has not been lazy when it comes to this book. She's really thought out what she's doing. it's been a full day. So I've not been very well, so I haven't been vlogging or anything just last night because I was just a bit of a mess. But I finished Love Unwritten. I want to talk to you about it. It was okay. I've got some opinions. I just need to share them. Okay, firstly, I liked this book. I thought it was good and I appreciated it. Now, I do see what people were saying with the whole it was 100 pages too long, because I did find myself, I think it was about the 450 mark. For about 60 pages, I did feel like, okay, this is really stagnant, like nothing's happening right now. So I did feel a bit like, what's going on? So I didn't like that. I did feel like we could have done without those 60 pages and we could have just like gone on with the story. It just felt very unnecessary. It just didn't have much pacing, those 60 pages, and it was just trying to show us how Raphael and Ellie were like starting their life together in a way, but it was so slow that it just wasn't enjoyable. The good things and bad things about this book. Where do I start? So good. I thought Ellie's character was one that I'd never really come across before. I thought her passion, her determination to do things, I thought was brilliant. I'd never experienced that from a different character before. I also thought she was a very hurt person, very much gone through a lot in her life, so I did like that. I also thought that Raphael's character was good. I liked him. I thought he was very sweet, and he had moments of like grumpy sunshine where are you okay, honey?
Oh.
Did you just punch the wall?
Yes.
But yeah, Raphael was a okay character. I don't know, I feel like I was missing something a little bit with him. What else is there? Hello. I did feel for this book that it was a bit too dark for me. I'll shock you because this is a romance, but what I mean by that is this book heavily goes into, just to warning now, these are like some trigger warnings right now. This book heavily goes into the topic of SH, of SA, domestic abuse, parental neglect, scars. Like it goes there with the topic, and for me, I felt like it was good, but I did feel like there was a section that made me uncomfortable, and it wasn't like I don't know how to explain it, but it was an unnecessary uncomfortable. Like it was something, this is a little bit of spoiler warning by the way, just letting you know now. There was a section where we see from Ellie's perspective her on the verge of reverting back to her old ways with SH, and to me it was a bit too much. I just felt like for a romance I didn't need that. I understood what Ellie had been through. I understood that she, had been through a lot in life and she was still coping, but I just felt like that seems very unnecessary. What did I rate this book? I rated this book a 4.5. Now, I'm kind of still on the edge of that because I feel like whenever I'm like, oh, is that too high a rating? I then remember all the things I loved about this book. So the things I loved was Nico. Nico's character was written very well. I really did like him. I kind of wished in the epilogue and the bonus content that I got that we got to see more about his medical condition and like how it had progressed, because I feel like that was a big plot point in the start, but towards the end it just kind of felt like that fizzled out a bit, and I don't know why. Oh, thank you. I liked how much Julian and Dahlia are in this book. Sometimes you don't really see the characters from the other books in the series. No, from like the start, Julian was in this book and I was so happy. He was like the one that Raphael went to for advice. I just thought it was so cute. There was a big section on like family and how much it means to Raphael, which I liked. It was good, and it definitely did stay true to the first book, because the first book was very much about family and everything. I'm back from the pool. It's the next day. Today I have done some reading. I have not done loads, but I've done little bits and pieces. I was meant to get into The Fear, but I read 27 pages of that. I think I already mentioned that. Sam read that to me. and I don't know what it was. I think with the sun, the heat, I'm just really not feeling like a zombie apocalypse book right now. So I started an audiobook that I had on my Spotify. So I had a bit of time left on my Spotify, left of audio time. You get 15 hours a month. So I read for a bit. I read some of Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, but I have ran out of time on there for that. I've used up all my hours. I only had 4 hours left, but I'm gonna finish that next month when I get my top up on Spotify, and I'm really enjoying that. It's really good. I always feel like Abby Jimenez's books, her books and Taylor Jenkins Reid, those two are my favourite for audiobooks. I just think they're so captivating and so good. But I think I got to about chapter 15 with that, so I really am liking that book. I think Jacob's character is really good. Once again, Abby Jimenez's characters, they're all so fleshed out. Like Jacob's character is, we've got our two characters, Brianna and Jacob. Brianna they both work in a hospital together, and Jacob's pretty much brand new, and Jacob has really bad anxiety and social anxiety, and he really struggles making first impressions with people, and he's made a really bad one with everybody at the hospital, and he's not really liked, but he is a really nice guy. He just struggles with reading the room and reading people and being able to understand social cues. He really struggles. So she's been giving him tips on how to really get along with everybody and all the nurses and everything, which has been really nice because he's been really struggling recently. And Brianna is trying to get through a divorce that she's in the middle of. Her husband cheated on her, so she's in the middle of a divorce that's just been finalized, and she's kind of at a loss with what to do, and she's kind of written off men. I really love Abby Jimenez's writing because I feel like her writing of characters is so layered. I just feel like, in all honesty, I don't think any other book really compares with how realistic her characters feel. And it was the same with Just for the Summer and A Part of Your World. Both of them, the characters just had flaws as well as good things about them, and it just made them feel realistic. Right now I'm only 3 books behind on my Goodreads, so that's really good. Very, very happy about that. It's been a couple days. I've been trying to get into the Thursday Murder Club, but there's just something about it. I'm just struggling so hard to get into it. It's just, I don't know if it's the narrating or the writing or whatever, but I'm not hooked. I'm not interested. I feel a bit lost. Like, information's being told to me that I don't necessarily care about. So I'm gonna give that a miss for now. I'm gonna shoot that away, and we're gonna go on to something else. So I've planned today, we're going home, so I thought I would read a little bit on the coach and the taxi home, and maybe a little bit on the plane. So we have got a night flight, and we're gonna be arriving at 4 a.m. 2 a.m. We're arriving at 2 a.m. So I'm gonna try and like sleep a little bit on the plane, but that never really happens with me. So I'm going to probably read, and I'm looking at reading A Photo Finish by Elsie Silver, which is the next one in the After the Races series. I really did enjoy the first one. I think I gave it a 4, but I did like it, so I'm debating doing the second one. So right now I'm downloading the Spotify playlist and getting that sorted, and then I'm probably going to try and read a little bit now as well, because I've got a few hours until we leave.